his leadership, there have been significant changes with the verification process, the number of days to entitlement, and various programs that have taken place. And of course, he hired me to be his strategic outreach and communications director. So moving forward, and without further ado, I introduce you to Tom Leney, the Executive Director of SDVOB.
Thank you, Chanel. Good morning. Let me add my welcome to Chanel's. Welcome to the Department of Veteran Affairs. The good news is you should feel safe.
So did our recruiters in Tennessee. It's funny how guarded you guys are.
There it is. What I wanted to do was, I was asked to take a few minutes to provide you with some thoughts on the recent hearing, that was a joint hearing held by the HVAC and the House Small Business Committee on VA procurement. I saw in the announcement for this meeting a considerable amount of discussion about that, so I thought I'd just take a few minutes to give you some perspective. That was part of a series of hearings on VA procurement. And in those hearings, the VA acknowledged that our approach to documenting procurement for things such as non-VA care, prosthetics, purchase card purchases, were not fully compliant with the federal acquisition regulations in the past. And thus they were not fully recorded in our reporting in FPDS.
Hey Tom, I don't think everybody can hear you. Can you speak louder and into the mic?
I can speak louder and into the mic.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's easy.
That helps.
The VA socioeconomic achievements are reported based on procurement data in the federal procurement data system, as many of you know. The completeness and accuracy of our data is certified by the VA Senior Procurement Executive, Jan Fry. We certify that annually to the Office of Federal Procurement Policy. Their achievements are then calculated in accordance with the methodology established by the SDVOB. The VA, important thing here, I think from our perspective as veterans, okay? I want to take my OSBU hat off and talk as a veteran for a second. The VA has a legal authority and a moral imperative to provide health care to eligible vets. In 2014, in order to provide an expedited means of ensuring that veterans had prompt access to non-VA care when needed, the VA processed over $3 billion worth of transactions for non-VA care that were not reported in the FPDS, primarily as individual authorizations. Now they were reported in our financial systems. We had controls in place to make sure that veterans got what we paid for. These authorizations, although they were enforceable agreements, were not contracts in the formal sense as described in the federal acquisition regulation. Therefore, we had about $3 billion that was not included in our FPDS data, upon which our socioeconomic goals were determined. What I can't sit here and tell you is how the inclusion of these individual authorizations would have affected our socioeconomic goal achievement, but I expect it would have driven it down. But we don't know how many of the providers would have been considered small business, how many doctors' offices are small businesses. What I can state is the procurements in question were made to support the care of veterans. The funds appropriated by Congress were used for their intended purpose, and the VA established internal controls to manage the expenditure of the funds. And again, to me as a veteran, what I'm interested in is the VA spending money on stuff to help veterans. We're increasingly reliant, as many of you know, on non-VA care to fulfill the congressional mandate and improve our timeliness in support of veteran health. We've requested legislation to authorize VA to purchase care in certain circumstances through agreements that are not subject to certain provisions of law according to federal contract. Since most of the hearing was taken up with criticism of the VA, there was not much opportunity to share what we've done to improve. We've removed warrants from non-contracting staff so that people don't go out and purchase stuff if they don't have a warrant, if they're not a warranted contract. We've established a pharmacy prime vendor program where we spent $5 billion. We brought all of our pharmacy work under the FAR, under contract. We've enhanced our audits of our procurements. We've expanded. We've made improvements in our electronic contract management system. We've also taken action to procure non-VA care using FAR-compliant contracts. We've awarded 2 contracts as part of the Patient-Centered Community Care Program, PC3 for short, to improve veteran access to care and to heighten the reporting and oversight of those transactions. We've also established national dialysis contracts, which was another area where we were purchasing care for a vet that wasn't falling under the FAR. So we've taken action to bring a lot of this stuff into the FAR. Now I will tell you that the result of this is going to be a reduction in the percentage of procurements that go, the percentage of reported procurements that go to small businesses and veteran small businesses. Why? As we move from individual authorizations to individual doctor's offices, and we bring it under the FAR, under the PC3, we're using health networks, big health networks, as you might imagine. And so that means those procurements still get to doctor's offices, still get to doctors, still help vets. But right now, as we bring it into the FAR, it's through major, big contracts. We've increased the use of those contracts by 1,000% in the last year. After passage of the Veterans Choice Act, we modified those contracts further to bring all the Choice Act program within this. So, yeah, is this going to have a negative impact on our small business scorecard? Yes.